What's good people? Immersive here once again, and I just wanted to share my love of the city of Las Vegas. I think it's a really cool city. There's so much entertainment there. There's a lot to do, food to eat, places to go, casinos if you're into gambling, and it's just an all-around exciting vibe there in the city. It's a sprawling city, and I try to go at least twice a year, but a lot of people don't know how big Las Vegas is. They really just stick to the Strip. But at the same time, a lot of people may have never gone to Vegas before. You know, they're always trying to figure out where's the best place to stay. So I wanted to create a video that highlights certain areas within the Las Vegas metro area that I would recommend. And you know, a lot of the hotels that are marketed to everyone, they target these particular areas, and they're very distinct. I think they're very distinct areas that you should kind of know about, and they all have their own vibe and even their budget profiles, and they're targeted toward a specific clientele, if you will. So if you don't know, the main draw of Las Vegas is really this 4-mile stretch known as the Las Vegas Strip, or simply the Strip, and that's where a lot of the action resides. So in this video, I'll be breaking down each of the sections of the Strip, as well as a couple other areas that are slightly non-strip locations, just so that people can get a better idea of what to look for when they're searching for a hotel, of where to stay on the Strip. So just an overall disclaimer, your mileage may vary. Some people may have had a terrible experience at a hotel that a lot of people like, and vice versa. You may have had a great experience at a lesser known hotel. And so your exact experience, I can't vouch for how you're gonna actually experience it. However, this is just my opinion, since I've been there multiple times, stayed in all these areas that I'm gonna go over, and it just gives you a better idea so that you're not reserving blind. There's also the possibility that you might be going with a group. You might be going with a bachelor party, bachelorette party, some sort of event. You might be staying close to the convention center, or your company's already paying for a room, so you're not able to really sway the decision of where you'll be staying. However, if you're going for leisure, or you do have that persuasive power, definitely keep these in mind when you're looking for places to stay in Las Vegas. And then also, last but not least, these delineations of where I'm suggesting that these regions are, these are all my own. I'm sure some people might say, oh, well, the Las Vegas South Strip might extend all the way to the Vegas, the fabulous Las Vegas sign, whereas mine, I stop at Mandalay Bay. So these are all my personal preferences. All right, some more housekeeping out of the way. When I'm talking about these particular hotel areas, when I say the Strip, that means that the property has explicitly they have a South Las Vegas Boulevard address. They're directly on the Strip. Anything else will be considered non-strip hotels. So that's not really a deal breaker for most people, but just something to keep in mind. If someone's like, oh, I'm staying on the Strip, but they're actually staying at the Rio, that's an off-strip hotel. So I'll be covering the two non-strip areas first, but if you're interested in properties that are located specifically on the Las Vegas Strip, make sure to check the timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to that section. All right, so let's get into the first area, and it's gonna be the downtown hotels. So when I'm talking about downtown Las Vegas, I'm talking about the Old Vegas, or anything really along or within walking distance of Fremont Street. That's the main thoroughfare through downtown, and if you've never been before, it's a taste of what Old Vegas was. And you can still find really good deals here. It's pretty underrated. A lot of people don't know too much about Old Vegas or Fremont Street. However, I do encourage you, if you've never been, or your first time to Vegas, spend at least one night down in Fremont, get the Fremont Street experience. It's unlike any other, I will say that. So some of the pros of downtown Vegas is that it's underrated, like I said, overlooked compared to all of the skyscrapers that are on the main Las Vegas Strip. And it has very cost-effective options with regards to food, gambling, hotel stays. You can get a lot of bang for your buck if you're staying downtown. Some of the cons is that the crowd is a lot more rowdy. I mean, Vegas is already a place where people kind of let their hair down and let loose. But Fremont Street has a little bit more of an edge to it, for sure. There's also quite a bit of street performers that are there, people that are gonna be asking you for money. If that annoys you, you may wanna skip it, but they're usually not too pushy, but they are there, just so you're aware. Another con is that while this area is very well policed, this is closer to the rougher side of Vegas, or the northern side of Vegas. So you may, be careful of kind of where you park, make sure you're always walking with someone. Don't leave any valuables out. Just basic stay safe kind of pointers, but just know that it is closer to the rougher side of Las Vegas. Some of the properties there are going to be the D, the El Cortez, Four Queens, Binion's, Golden Gate, the Downtown Grand, the Golden Nugget, and then Circa, which I think is a relatively new property. If not, then it looks relatively new. It's one of the, probably the tallest building in downtown Vegas. And it has an awesome rooftop deck and a pretty cool pool scene. They have a massive TV and, you know, it's almost like a little sports bar, but it's the pool area. It looks very nice. So who is downtown Vegas for? It's if you're trying to ball on a budget, really. You're trying to go to Vegas, but you're not trying to blow your whole bankroll, or you're trying to save some money. Downtown Vegas is where you want to be. And also for any gambler or someone that's trying to get into gambling but doesn't want to blow all their money, the minimums are still relatively low compared to the rest of Vegas, and you can find some really, really good table limits, table minimums there in downtown. If you love New Orleans, you're going to love downtown. It's good, cheap, fun, right there in Vegas. It's really like the soul of Las Vegas. All right, so next we've got off-strip hotels. And when I say off-strip, I mean that they are within a 5-minute drive of the main Las Vegas Strip. So usually 2 blocks over. I'd say anything just east of Paradise Boulevard and then anything just west of I-15 is going to be considered your off-strip hotels. There are some exceptions, but typically this is kind of where these hotels are located. So one of the pros is that it's close enough to the Strip without being in the mix of the Strip. So you kind of have a little bit of buffer there. You're not in the crazy wild action that's often found on the Las Vegas Strip. And typically prices reflect the fact that it's not a Strip hotel. They're a little bit less in most cases. Some of the cons, however, is that it's not on the Strip. So if you're wanting to be in the mix of all that, you're gonna miss out, because walking there wouldn't necessarily recommend it, because even though it looks close on the map, these blocks are quite far. These resorts are massive, and you'll be walking for probably 30 minutes just to get to the Strip from these off-strip hotels. 15 to 30 minutes, I would say. Some of the properties that are here I would consider off-strip hotels include Rio, the Palms, the Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas, Westgate, which is close to the convention center actually, Palace Station, and then Trump International. Those resorts are what I would consider off-strip hotels. So who is this for? Who is the off-strip hotel for? It's for those that want to be close enough to the Strip but don't want to be really in the mix. And then it's for those that don't want to stay in a downtown hotel, but at the same time want something that's a bit more upscale, but not wanting to get the pricing that'll be reflected in a Vegas Strip hotel. All right, the reason you're here, right? These are the Strip hotels. Strip hotels have 3 distinct areas, and they all have their own kind of flair and character, but these are changing, especially on the north, and I'd say even on the south area. The central kind of stays the same, but first we'll talk about the North Strip. So the North Strip, my boundary, really it's Sahara Avenue is the northern boundary. However, the Strat Hotel is about, half a mile to the north. So I'd include just that hotel as part of the North Strip. And then it goes all the way down to Sands and Spring Mountain Roads. That is the southern boundary of the North Strip. Some of the pros for the North Strip are that it's the closest region to the massive Las Vegas Convention Center. Apart from that, casino developers are finally starting to put more properties or put more investment into the area. There are more properties springing up. Resorts World is relatively new. Fontainebleau just opened this year. It's finally starting to show some life on the north side of Vegas. And it's also, this is a big one, it's noticeably quieter up in that region versus areas to the south. One of the cons, this area tends to be a bit more blighted, less development obviously, so a lot of kind of desolate in between the resorts. Circus Circus is ancient, it's been there for a very long time, and it doesn't seem like it has a lot of, at least exterior investment in it. It's already a bit desolate, but at nighttime it's very apparent that there's not a whole lot in between these properties. So be careful if you're walking around that area at night. And then your retail establishments, all your shopping is not as prevalent as it is in other areas. There's really not a whole lot from there and from Sands all the way up to Sahara. So something to keep in mind if you're looking for things to do or places to go shop. There's not a whole lot and you're gonna have to travel a bit. Some of the properties in the North Strip zone include the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, Sahara, there is Encore, there's Wynn, Resorts World, Circus Circus, the Strat, Hilton Grand Vacations Club, and then there's a Travelodge by Wyndham. Who's it for? If you want to be close to the Vegas Convention Center, this is probably where you want to be. Notable exception would be Westgate. The Westgate Resort is close to the convention center as well. And if you're looking for a nice mix of budget options and some luxury options, Resorts World, Fontainebleau are going to be your higher end options. The Travelodge, Circus, and even Sahara are going to be closer to the budget options. I'll come back to the Central Strip in a bit, but first we're going to visit the South Strip. The South Strip, as I mentioned earlier before, the southern boundary is going to be Mandalay Bay, and then the northern boundary is going to be Harmon Avenue. So those hotels, those properties are going to be what I consider the South Strip. They're solid options that are directly on the strip. Some of them are showing their age a bit. Not necessarily a problem, however, something to be aware of. Some of the pros: this region is the closest to Harry Reid International Airport. So if you're just looking to get something that's close by, you're just there for a night, South Strip is where you're going to want to be. And then also all the sporting venues are going to be down on the South Strip area as well. Legion Stadium's down there, T-Mobile Park, T-Mobile Arena is down there as well. And then the new baseball stadium is going to be where the Tropicana used to be. Just like the North Strip, there's a nice mix of your affordable options and your luxe options. So it's nice to have that choice, that option of choice when you're there. And then of course, you've got the event centers that are down there. So you've got Mandalay Bay's got a massive convention center, and then the MGM Grand has a lot of sporting events there as well. Some of the cons are that these properties are starting to show their age, and there's not a whole lot of renovation going on. Since it's on the strip, it's going to be a lot busier than the other locations. And with the new stadium that's being built, I can only imagine that there's going to be more influx of people and traffic just kind of congesting the area. Properties here include the MGM Grand, Park MGM Waldorf Astoria, Aria, Vdara, Excalibur, Luxor, Mandalay Bay, Delano, Four Seasons, New York, Nomad Las Vegas, and the Hilton Vacation Club Polo Towers. So who's it for? If you want easy access and you want to be close to all the sporting arenas, South Strip's where you want to be. And then it's close enough to it all without being in the core of the strip, which we're going to talk about next. All right, we made it to Center Strip. This is where all of the marketing of Vegas takes place. The Central Strip ranges on its northern border from Sands Avenue and Spring Mountain Road all the way down to Harmon Avenue. It's not a huge region, but it's a very dense area. There's a lot of action going on in this region. This is the beating heart of Las Vegas. This is where you take your selfie of you being in front of all the lights in the hotels and watching the fountains, and all of the action and everything that is marketed to the world is all due to this core of the strip, and it shows it. So those are the pros. The cons would be that it's extremely crowded, pedestrian traffic, vehicular traffic. You know, there's people everywhere. There's a lot of people that are on the sidewalk that are trying to separate you from your money, whether they're the costume ladies trying to get you to take a picture with them, or someone drawing a caricature of you, or street performers, or the 360 camera booths that are there. Everything is there to divide you and your money. And then typically the most expensive hotels in Las Vegas are going to be found here on the Central Strip. Properties here include the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, Planet Hollywood, Venetian, Palazzo, Treasure Island, Mirage, Harrah's, Nobu, Paris, Bellagio, Horseshoe, the Cromwell, Flamingo, the Link, and Caesar's Palace. So who is this for? This is for anyone that's just got money to burn. You want the quintessential Las Vegas experience. This is where you go. So those are the 5 regions that I would recommend if you're coming to Vegas: downtown, off strip, north, central, and south strip. Those locations you can find pretty much anything you want in Las Vegas. They all have their pros and cons, but I hope I did a good enough job of recapping them all, and I hope you found some value in this video. If I missed anything, definitely make sure to leave it in the comment section below. Make sure you're following the channel, Immersive. Follow me on Instagram at MMERSIVE, also Immersive. Yeah, I'd love to make more content about my traveling experiences, things that I wish I knew before I went to some of these places and countries. And if you're gonna be staying at any Vegas hotel and there's some updates or some renovations, some construction, some demolition, I know they're planning a couple new hotels that are slightly off strip, I believe, like Dream, I think is one that I heard of. Definitely let me know. Love to hear more about it. I personally love Las Vegas, and I'm going to do a bit of a deep dive in another video regarding Vegas. But until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.